I was as scared watching it, knowing all the beats, knowing every little thing that's going to happen, every twist and turn. I was as scared on this watch as I was the first time I saw it. It is a deeply, deeply terrifying movie in a way that you can't really overcome. You don't sort of watch it enough times that you cease to be afraid of it. And when I think of movies that transformed the horror genre, and I'm not just talking about great horror movies like The Exorcist or something, but I'm talking about movies that fundamentally transformed the genre itself, I think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 1974, and I think of Blair Witch Project in 1999. Movies that were not just trying to be great horror movies, but were trying to redefine the way horror movies could be scary. That cared about horror, the horror in horror movies, the fear element of horror movies. It has that genius, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that only comes from being outside the studio system, from just being kids with a camera and an idea. And one of the things that Blair Witch does that horror directors who have 10 movies under their belt don't know to do or don't think to do is that it gives you the big iconic sort of monster, the Blair Witch, who is never seen, is constantly in the sort of background and whose influence is felt in many different ways. But what the movie understands to do is that in addition to the monster in the woods, we need a closer, more visceral horror, something that's sort of relatable and terrifying and real. And what do? They give you Lost in the Woods like no one has ever given you Lost in the Woods.
Scary as hell.
They make getting lost in the woods seem like the scariest thing that could ever happen to you. The psychological horror of it, the descent into hell, the 7th circle of hell, the 8th circle of hell, the 9th circle of hell. This movie is like walking around a descending spiral into the bottom of the universe, and there's no way out. And you feel that so strongly and so intently. I was telling Joe before, you have those moments in life. Most of your life, you sort of are either consciously or unconsciously resigned to your own mortality. It's really not that big a deal. Life is exhausting. I'm giving it my best shot. And when it's time to go, I'm going to be ready to go. But then there are other times in life when your mortality becomes terrifying, becomes so deeply terrifying. And I had one of those moments on this watch of Blair Witch, where watching them get lost in the woods, watching them realize that this is it. We came out here to make a little movie, and we ain't coming out of these woods. We're going to die here. I started to think about the fact that I'm going to die, and it really started to terrify me. And that is a testament to this movie. That really is a testament, because the movie puts your mind in a terrifying, terrifying place.